And good morning, and welcome to Trice Hughes Chevrolet Tiger Sports Talk, live here at the Tiger, 103.3 FM. We're entering week number 2 of the high school football season, and, man, time's flying by, Dennis.
I'm telling you, I'm glad you say live every time.
We're live.
We might not be here that way one of these days.
We don't do them pre-recorded, so
No.
we just throw them together, and we're glad to be here again this Friday morning. We've got a good group of guests that's going to be joining us here in studio as well as via telephone. And before we do that, we want to make a few announcements here. The Caldwell County middle school football team got another big win last night. Actually, 2 big wins. The 8th grade won 14-8 over James Madison. And the JV game, Caldwell County was 20 and James Madison 0. So 2 good wins for the program for the middle school.
James Madison's usually pretty decent as far as athletes go. I know when we were kids growing up, we'd have to go over there and they'd have 2 or 3 teams. But Paducah was the one we worried about with all the different middle schools. But Madisonville's about the same way. I don't know what they do when they get to high school, join each other, but they have a good team.
Yeah, of course, they're one of the feeder programs to Madisonville North, and I'm not sure, but I believe some of them may go to Hopkins County Central. I know South Hopkins filters into Hopkins County Central, and Browning Springs filters into Madisonville North, and I think the James Madison is kind of split between the two. So they've always had good programs over there, and we mentioned, of course, last week, Mark Bashir is a longtime coach out there at James Madison, and, they always have a pretty good football team. Also, we want to announce, too, that Trice Hughes Chevrolet tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., Operation Kid Safe is going to be held, and the people over there, Trent Burton has contacted me and asked me to keep promoting it for them. It's not just for the youth, but also for the adults. It's a good program of Amber Alerts where you can go over and get fingerprinted, and it's a really good program. So we want to encourage the community to come out tomorrow and go by Trice Hughes Chevrolet. They're going to have refreshments, I believe, hot dogs and donuts and so forth, and go out and get fingerprinted.
It's another one of these deals where they take care of the community. Remember, they used to they'd take vehicles out to the schools and let the kids, or not kids, but the parents drive them, and they would put the money down toward the school system. And so this is another deal for the community that people ought to take advantage of.
It's a good thing, and of course we appreciate them sponsoring our show here each and every Friday, and for all that they do here in the community. Got any shout outs this morning?
Oh.
To any listeners? I've got a couple here. I ran into one of our former players last Saturday night, Jason Bubba Landreth. Jason Landreth was down at Cracker Barrel eating, and of course he was a good player for us from down at Fredonia, and he and his dad, Ed, was at Cracker Barrel, and I got to visit with them some, and Jason's got a really good job. He lives up around somewhere in central Kentucky. I believe he's at Simpsonville or somewhere, and got a really good job working for UPS. And he said he's listened to our show before, so we want to shout out to Jason.
Give Bubba a hello. He back in the day, he used to try to go to Cracker Barrel a lot. Now he's lost a lot of weight.
He's lost a lot of weight, and he slimmed down and looks really, really good. And it was good to see him and Ed both. Of course, Ed, when I was at Crittenden County, he was a member of Marion Country Club, so I got to see him play golf about every day. And he told me last week that he still plays about every day down at Marion.
Plays at Marion.
Still plays. Also, I'd like to shout out to Nikki LaFoon downtown here at Pasha Preston. She told me she listens to our show religiously and really enjoys it, and she's done a little work for me this week, and she's got some really good stuff down there in that store, and got to visit with her and, of course, talk about her dad, Joe Lewis, and her brothers, of course, played for us, Donnie and Jonathan. and we want to give her a shout out as well.
Well, we'll give a shout out to her pop then, old Bangs.
Yeah, old Bangs.
He's still kicking. I don't know where, but he's kicking.
Yeah. Those are the ones I had on my list here to shout out to. We've got with us here a studio guest, Coach Will Barnes of Caldwell County High School Tigers, and we appreciate Will taking time out this morning to come in and talk to us. And Coach, before we talk about tonight's game, let's go back. I know we had a hard-fought loss last week against the Christian County Colonels over at Hopkinsville, and it was a game that could have went either way. I mean, our kids played extremely hard, and I know that we were disappointed, but we got to gain something positive out of that. And tell us.
Yeah, we had some opportunities to make some plays, especially offensively, and just didn't make them. And got to have practice a little bit better, which we've done this week. And defensively, we played well enough to win the game. I felt like just offensively, just here or there for whatever reason, couldn't make too many plays, or we had some untimely penalties that really negated some big plays. So if we can get that cleaned up, hopefully we'll be okay going forward. We watched the film. Everybody's had a good attitude this week and looking to get better.
Well, we're kind of in the same scenario this year like we were last year. We were coming off a loss to Christian County here at home, getting ready to play Graves County. Graves County was coming off a big win against Murray High, which they did last Friday night. And, I thought, some of the positives that come out of the game last week against Christian County, I thought our defense played extremely well. That was probably the biggest question marks coming into this year is what will be the play of our defense.
Yeah, they, across the board played well. We've got some linebackers that stepped in that are really inexperienced and played well. I think Coach Riley does our defensive line, and he thought they all three played well. Drew Davis, was a freshman that came in and held his own. Mitchell Harrelson and Devin Kilgore had some experience last year and both played really well. So it was good to see, the defense play well. Hopefully the offense can follow suit. I'm sure most people thought it might be the other way around.
I thought, when just watching it, I thought the defense, like you said, played well. And honestly, I don't know if this is a true statement or not, but I felt like with them running the type of offense they did, it gave our defensive linemen a chance to stay a little tighter, and they could, instead of spreading us out like our offense, I felt like it helped our linebackers, as young as they were, for them, not being spread out so much the very first game.
I think, our defense, we've gone against our offense in the summer, so I think that was a little bit of a concern going into the game, not seeing, the eye and that more downhill running. But I think you're right, with the defensive line, they didn't have to worry about running sideline to sideline as much. And the linebackers did a good job, playing downhill. I think we improved on our tackling from the scrimmage, so that was good to see defensively.
I thought they did a real good job. I really did. I got a question for you. I don't ever ask questions like this very often, but this is a good one. My wife and I were watching the game, and of course on our second, I believe it was our second safety.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, why would and I said, well, you saw him, he got tackled. But I said, I thought to myself, and I thought, when we played Louisville years ago, I was already graduated, we took a safety to keep them from getting the ball back and scoring again. Was that the second safety? Did you all honestly try to take one to keep them from scoring? And that way, if we would have got an onside kick, we could have come back and won the ball game.
No, we were backed up, and I think at that point there was maybe 3 minutes. So we had to get some chunks down the field to try to score. If you go back and look at the film, we had some things there, and it just kind of broke down. But no, we weren't trying to do that.
Well, you're a good guy, because I was assistant and they asked me that. I said, yeah, that's what we were trying to do.
We planned on doing it that way. Well, another area, of course, I think last week against Christian County, we probably punted more in that game than we had probably the first half of last season. And I know that's an area, special teams is always an area of concern. And you had a young kid in there, first time out to punt.
Yeah, Tripp came out this year, and he's doing a good job. I'm glad he's playing. He's, a good athlete. And, the first time he gets out there in a varsity game, the snap's kind of hard to handle, and he got knocked around a little bit. But, it was really good to get the kick off at all, for what the situation was. And then the rest of the night, I thought he did a pretty good job, which is a big deal. When you're playing a team like Christian County to kind of keep, play the field position game when your offense isn't playing very good and your defense is, field position, can really swing the game.
It's tough. I'll tell you, I did the kicking and the punting, and you try to teach kids, or they try to teach me at the time, you never look anywhere but at the ball. But when you're a punter, the ball is coming the same way they are.
Right.
And, it's just until you really have experience, that's not an easy job.
No, it's definitely not. And, Tripp stepped right in, did a good job. Coach Peppers worked with him.
Yes.
And, we were kind of joking around. It seems like we've always got a pretty good kicker and a pretty good punter, and Coach Pepper does a good job with that. He worked with all those guys on his own. And they're all, doing a good job.
Yeah, I thought the extra point too. He missed it by an inch or two, the extra point, and he got a great leg.
Yeah, he's got a good leg, and I think
first year kicking football, right?
Yeah, and I think it might be kind of like a basketball shooter. Once they see it go down one time, I think once he makes one in a game, we got to score more, so he gets some more opportunities, and I think he'll do fine. And Viverette did a good job Monday night kicking at the JV game. Did a really good job.
Well, we watched both of them in practice one day. We were up on the hill up by David's dad, and we sat up there and watched them kick. And I'll tell you what, it looked
very
like
impressed.
I couldn't. You don't have lines down there, but it looked like to me he could. The Schultz, what's his name? Is Schultz?
Schultz.
Yeah. He was kicking from maybe 45 yards.
Yeah,
or more.
he's got a really good leg.
I thought it was going a long lick. Anyway, Viverette is very consistent.
Yeah,
and his legs going to get stronger. He looks like me. I weighed 110 when I was his age.
So, and they're both really good kids. It's not easy to go to soccer practice and try to find time to kick. And we appreciate the sacrifice that they've made, to be a part of our team.
Well, that's enough about last week's game. Let's talk about this week's game. How's practice been this week?
Last week, I felt like we didn't have a really good week of practice. It's been better this week. We really focused on it. Last week, I felt like it wasn't real big things that we were, making mistakes on. It was the fundamentals, things that we spend, the first 20 minutes of practice on. Ball security, sticking routes, looking the ball in. Those are the things we kind of focused on this week to be better in that first 20 minutes of practice. So hopefully that translates to tonight's game.
Have we ever played in this stadium that you know of?
I think Todd said on Sunday we may have played them in the 80s, but they were playing at War Memorial.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first game at Graves.
One of my first years here, we played Graves County, and they were just starting their program. Jay Buckley was the head coach at that time. And we went down and played Graves, and I think we beat them. And I'm not sure. I hadn't looked at the past games, but that might be the only time we've played Graves up until last season.
Todd said something like that, so I think he may be right on that.
Okay. We got a radio guest? Okay.
Yes.
Or call in?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We're joined here on Tiger Sports Talk with the head football coach at Graves County High School, Lance Gregory. Welcome to the show, Lance.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Coach, we're talking about tonight's game between the Caldwell County Tigers and the Graves County Eagles, and we're kind of in the same scenario as we were last year at this time. You coming off a big win against Murray High over at Murray, and Caldwell County coming off of a disappointing loss in their opening game, but it looks like a game that two teams are pretty evenly matched up. And give us your what you think it's going to look like tonight.
Well, I know we're facing a really good Caldwell County team. I mean, I have the utmost respect for Coach Barnes. I think he's one of the best coaches in the state of Kentucky and has done a phenomenal job at Caldwell. Just a great coach, has a great staff. Coach McClung is a Graves County alum, and I know he does a great job over there. So we know we're going up against an explosive, disciplined, physical football team, and we're gonna have to play really, really well tonight to be able to come away with a win.
I know last week you opened up against Murray High, I believe over at Murray, and came away with a good win. And you've got some outstanding offensive personnel, especially the quarterback. Tell us a little bit about your quarterback and some of your offensive players.
Well, our quarterback, of course, Ryan Mathis, this will be his fourth year starting. He missed the first three games last year, missed the Caldwell game last year because of a hamstring injury. So he's back 100% healthy. Another year bigger, faster, stronger, and more experienced. Makes great decisions with the football. He, it's like having a coach on the field. Got a really good arm, dual threat quarterback. So, and a great leader for us. So we're excited about our quarterback. We've got a young offensive line. We only have one returning starter in Max Wilson. Big, he's 6'7", 304, and has been starting since his sophomore year. But we've got three sophomores on the interior, then a junior at the other tackle. So we're slowly bringing our offensive line along, but I think those guys did a pretty good job last week. Got a young receiving core. Only one we have back is Drew Cooper, and he's been big for us the last couple years. Had a young sophomore step up last week in Race Richards, and then got some other guys, Nelson Browning and Riley Thompson, some other guys in there that played really well last week. Then our running backs, we feel good about our backs. Got 2 or 3 that we can rotate in there. Cody Goatley, Tavis Brown, and Nelson Browning all got some carries last week, and so we're excited about our running backs, and made some mistakes last week offensively. We had a couple drives inside the 10-yard line. We didn't come away with any points, which we've got to improve on that, and of course we got to protect the football.
Well, last season, of course, we didn't get to see the Mathis kid. I believe he got injured in the first game, didn't he?
No, actually, he got injured away from football.
Oh, well.
He had a little skiing accident and had a hamstring, tore a hamstring, and so he was out for about that was back during the summer, so he was out for about 8 or 9 weeks, and we didn't get him back until I think the Paducah-Tillman game.
What about defensively? Are you do you have a lot of experience returning on the defensive side of the ball?
In areas we do, in spots. We've got our 2 corners back. We've got one of our safeties back, Riley Thompson, and Tavis Brown, Nelson Browning at corner. Actually, Ryan Mathis will start for us at free safety. Our quarterback, he's going to play both ways this year. Had 2 interceptions last week against Murray. And then Cody Goatley's back. Cody's a Division I prospect. He's already been offered by SIU, and some other schools are really interested in him. And then we've got a couple other guys that are his first year starting, Brady Knoll and Aiden Lyman, a couple linebackers that are new to the starting role this year. And then we've only got one defensive lineman back from last year, and that was Grant Womble, our nose guard. But our 2 defensive ends, Sam Thompson and Alex Ramage, did a great job last week. So we've got some young guys, that are that first year they're starting, but we feel really good about them.
Coach, I know how tough it is. It's got to be living in a community that's got 2 good football teams that kids can participate with. Of course, Mayfield right across the town there, and of course it looks like they're going to be loaded again this year. And you've always had a good competitive football team, and of course just a short time ago, just a few years ago, you were playing for a state championship.
Yeah, it's a great community for football, and it's a good rivalry between us and Mayfield. We actually had a couple big wins last night at the middle school level. Our 7th and 8th grade both beat their 7th and 8th grade last night, so that was a good momentum into today. And have the utmost respect for Coach Morris and what he's done. Another coaching veteran who I think is one of the best in Kentucky, and has a great program over there. And they have their thing, we have ours, and we focus on trying to build this program, and hopefully we can maintain the level of success, and of course continue to get better, and get back to a state championship.
Well, DT and I, we sit around, we talk all the time. We just keep wondering, how does Mayfield keep doing it? Every year, it seems like year after year after year, they just keep reloading. And, I mean, this has been going on for over 40, 50 years. And I know, of course, Graves County hadn't been in, how many years has Graves County had football?
I think maybe 30 years.
Has it been close to 30? Okay. But I know they, you do a great job over there with your program, and you play a tough competitive schedule. I was looking at it last night. After you play us tonight, you got McCracken County next week and Paducah Tillman. And, you play a really tough schedule. And, of course, in your district, you got Christian County, I believe, and Owensboro and some of those teams. And, it's a tough situation, being at Graves County and having to travel, especially as far as you do within your district. And, what I know next year there's going to be a new realignment. And I believe Christian County is moving out and going up to Bowling Green. And you're going to be, primarily the furthest team west.
Yeah, it's actually the travel is going to get a lot worse next year for us. But our non-district, we're lucky. We've got some great football down here in West Kentucky. All our non-district is here on this end of the state. Murray, like you said, Murray, Caldwell, Tillman, McCracken, Mayfield, and Callaway at the end of the season. So we try to play everybody in Western Kentucky, and then of course we've got Marshall County in the district, and Christian, Owensboro, and Apollo, who's much improved. So right now the travel's not we can handle it. It's not bad, but next year we're going to be we've got Breckenridge County in our district. We've got Ohio County, Muhlenberg County, and so I think Muhlenberg County will be our closest drive. So it's we're just gonna have to get on the bus and drive. So, yeah. But we got to do what the KHSAA says, and don't understand kind of the alignment there. But we got to play the schedule they give us.
Coach, this is DT. I'm Gator sidekick here. I talk every now and then when I have something to say, which I usually don't much. But as numbers wise, how do you all suit up with your numbers as far as seniors and juniors?
Well, we start off. I think we had about 70, 73 kids at the beginning of the year, and how football works. You got kids who decide it's not for them, and so I'd say right now we're around 65, between 65, 67 kids right now. We got one of the biggest freshman classes we've had in a while. I think we got about 32 freshmen. So our numbers are pretty good. Our senior class is small. I think we got about 10 seniors this year. So it just was. They've always been a small class since middle school. So, but we got some good quality kids in those 10 kids.
You seem to have 10 good ones, though. I mean, you have 10 pretty good seniors. That's great. When you have some younger ones,
it is. So our numbers are good. Our middle school, the numbers are really good. Our little league. We'd like to have more kids, but we feel pretty good about our numbers right now.
I just brought that up mainly because last week we asked Lovelace how many seniors he lost. He said 27. And I said, how many you got this year? And he said 26. So, he doesn't hurt much, evidently.
Yeah.
And Lance, another thing I know is, of course, you play District 2, which is the Bowling Green district. And I believe last year you played South Warren the very first round of the playoffs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we played South Warren.
Well, we saw South Warren last week against after our game with Christian County. South Warren played Hopkinsville. and it doesn't look like they've missed a beat. They looked like a really good football team out there last week.
Yeah, I think I was talking to the coach last year before we played. He said he thought they were going to be a little down last year, but he said he thought this year would be the year they have a shot. They were really good last year, and of course they didn't lose a whole lot of kids. They got that defensive tackle that's going to Notre Dame, and the Spurrier kid at quarterback. So they're going to be really good this year, I would think.
Well, Coach, we sure do appreciate you calling in this morning and giving us an outlook on your team, and we look forward to coming over tonight. And I know Caldwell County will bring a good crowd, and you always have a great crowd there, and you just do a great job there, Lance. I appreciate you and, the job that you do here for football in Western Kentucky. And if you see O.J. Buckley, tell him I said hello.
I'll do it. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
That was Coach Lance Gregory, the head football coach at Graves County Eagles. We're going to take a short break here, and we're going to come back and have a little bit more of Tiger Sports Talk here on Trice Hughes Chevrolet.
Hi, Mark Bott, the founder of Operation Kids Safe. A big thank you to the Trice Hughes team. Bring the entire family for refreshment, activities, and a day of safety and fun. Saturday, August the 25th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Parents will get a free and private lifetime Amber Alert digital safety form for their child from Operation Kids Safe. It's all about family at Trice Hughes Incorporated, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. More information, go to tricehughes.com or their Facebook page.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the FiberGuard and LeatherGuard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton.
Hi, Mark Bott, the founder of Operation Kids Safe. A big thank you to the Trice Hughes team. Bring the entire family for refreshment, activities, and a day of safety and fun. Saturday, August the 25th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Parents will get a free and private lifetime Amber Alert digital safety form for their child from Operation Kids Safe. It's all about family at Trice Hughes Incorporated, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. More information, go to tricehughes.com or their Facebook page.
There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shauna Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Back here at Trice Hughes Chevrolet, Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. We've been joined here in the studio now by a very special guest. We're going to induct a new class into the Caldwell County Football Hall of Fame, and we have one of the newest members, Chris Cochran. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Chris played for DT and myself back in the long time ago.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
Early 90s.
Late 80s, yeah.
Late 80s. And I believe when I came over here in 86, were you in the 8th grade then?
No, I
No,
was a freshman.
you were a freshman.
Yeah, we were your first freshman class.
Okay, you and Brock Thomas. I remember you and Brock Thomas. When you get older, Chris, you tend to forget. Of course, I hadn't forgot
understand.
you. You can't forget somebody as good as Chris Cochran was. But Chris played, even his freshman year,
Yeah.
and that was something, back in that day for a freshman to come in and play on the high school varsity team. And he went on and just did great things for us here at Caldwell County High School.
He played for me when he was in the Little League. My first year back to Princeton, I coached he and Wayne McGowan on the same team. I didn't know either one. Well, I knew him because of his daddy, but
Yeah.
that's probably 1983 or 4.
Yeah, a long time
That's
ago.
when I came back, I think. No,
Cor-
you came in 80.
I came in '86.
I was here in 83.
I came in here at '86, and of course, Chris, your dad, Danny, played here at Caldwell County. He played with you, didn't he, Dick?
Yes, he's a year older than I am. Sure is.
Yeah.
He's the one that caught 2 touchdown passes my junior year when we beat Mayfield. I guess we beat them 3 times in our career.
Not too many.
Yeah.
You,
I mean,
you can count them
forever.
all on one hand, I believe.
Yeah, I think that lived in football lore for many a years, I think, until that team of Coach Giordano's beat 'em.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
And now they've beat them.
Yep.
Yeah. Chris, tell us a little bit about what it was like playing back
Back in the day.
I
tell you what, a lot of this Hall of Fame stuff's going up. A lot of people, been congratulate me and give me high fives about it, and it's brought up a lot of Glory Day memories, And speaking of being that freshman, when I come up out of 8th grade, and I still remember my introduction to high school football, and I think they put me on linebacker right there on the scout team at the time on defense, and. Run Junior McGowan. I don't know if y'all remember Junior.
remember Junior.
Oh,
You can't
man.
forget Junior.
No, Junior was an awesome football player. I tell you what,
Yeah.
he was a big cheerleader for me. I'll never forget him. And he come across that line, and I met him right there, probably about that number 2 gap hole, and he knocked my chin strap off, my shoulder pads loose, and I just hung on for dear life. But that was a good introduction, and I knew then if I could stick my head in there and just be as tough as they were, that I was good, And but I've always appreciated Junior. I remember the first high school game we played together, and I come across the line and made a tackle. He was screaming at the other team. He goes, "Look at that freshman! Look at that man go! Look at him go!" He pulled me up out of the bottom of the pile. So but I have had a good opportunity to play with a lot of great players. Byron Goat, we played him, David Stevens, Garrett and I played a lot together.
Randy was
Bruce.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that influenced me up all the way through life, really, and just looking back on the example a lot of them set. So, and you guys as well.
Those guys you mentioned, they just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't. Most time you think, I don't want to go here at 3 o'clock, put this stuff on, and go downstairs. Go out on that field, run that hill, and y'all couldn't wait to get down there. And that's what makes coaching such a nice thing to do.
Of course, back when I think you played in high school, we had to drive from the high school back down here to the Butler, and we practiced at the Butler. And of course, there wasn't much grass on that field then.
No,
Everybody practiced there. The middle school on one end and the high school on the other end.
Yeah,
And
Little League played there. I mean, that field's had a lot of use over its lifetime.
and it's still beautiful as ever, right up to this day. I went by it the other day, and it's still just gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a lot of. Way before you came, we had. I don't know if y'all remember Bill Sykes.
Yeah.
Bill Sykes, that was my introduction to the regiment of football, and he really set me up to do well. And like you said, get the stuff on, get out there, get ready to play ball. He really brought me a lot there in middle school, all up into my high school career.
Yeah, he was still here when I came back. He was teaching at the middle school, and then he left. That Christmas, he left and go into sales and got out of it.
Yeah, sure did.
But he's a good fella. We talked to him last year on the radio, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
We called and talked to him.
We did.
He's got a whole lot of people like yourself that really respect him and think a lot of him. They really do.
I sure did. It's hard. I wished I could name everybody that's really influenced me over my lifetime, and but yeah, just a lot of good people in football in general.
Well, I've told you this before, and I'll tell you again right now that Jack Morris, of course, that's Joe's daddy. When he coached,
Coach Jack.
he was he told Gator and myself that the only two players that he had seen so far out of Caldwell that he really would take. You were one of them, and Junior McGowan was the other.
He sure did.
Because I know Junior played safety that time we went down to Mayfield and played, and I think he made every tackle. And Jack said after the game, said, "What position really did you tell him to play?"
Yeah, the Morrises, you gotta have a lot of respect.
Oh,
Right,
boy.
right, we did. You know, Chris, you never came off the field. I can, you know, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, back then, we didn't have a choice, did we?
No, there wasn't much of a choice at all, and you got to drink of water when you could, and you just went right back out there. It was, you know, a lot of us was just proud to be there, to be out on the field, represent Caldwell County, you know, and I know being that freshman class, that first freshman class that you had, we kind of felt like that we had something to prove before we left, you know, and Caldwell hadn't had a winning season in, good gracious, I don't know how long, and it was very important to us before we graduated that, you know, that we had a winning season at Caldwell to kind of to spark things and hopefully to take off and for things to come. And we were very happy. You know, we were full of ourselves, and we really thought we had great things to come that year of our senior year. And we were just glad to finish on the positive side more than anything. That meant a lot to us.
You know, that's the way Caldwell is. I mean, if you have a winning season in Caldwell County, they're tickled to death. They forget the losses.
Yeah.
Most of them, it's a football community. They love it. I mean, that's just the way it is.
I've always said there's none other like it. You know, of course, I grew up not too far from here, but the people here and right down the road, Crittenden County is much like Caldwell County. They love their football.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to be in both communities, and I know how much the people care about it. And, you know, it's people like you that make us look good and a lot better than we probably deserve to look anyway. But tell us, can you put into words what it means to you right now to be elected into the Caldwell County Football Hall of Fame?
I guess it kind of puts a stamp on things. It kind of, you know, like a finale. You know, it's you relive a lot of the glory days. When you played, you remember things that happened, players. But I think when you get that honor or you get that kind of bestowed upon you, it's like, you know,
somebody was watching.
Yeah, you know,
and especially a lineman.
Yeah.
You know, lineman doesn't really get the credit. I know DT, he always bragged on his lineman.
Yeah.
Being a quarterback. And I think Will's the same way. You know, he always complimented those linemen because if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be as successful.
Well, we always grew up as a lineman. You were always like, if you got your name called, you were in trouble. If you never got your name called, you were golden. You were doing your job. That was kind of like the best compliment that a lineman could get, you know, is that no one called your name. So it's...
Especially when you jump off sides.
Yeah, especially when you jump off sides.
Well, you know, a lineman it's just like everything else. You're a football player. You're not necessarily a lineman, you're a teammate. You know,
Yeah.
That's what it amounts to.
You know, and I was fortunate to play with somebody like, you know, Wayne, who every time we come back to the huddle and he'd have a good run, you know, it's always hitting you on the back of the head, hitting you on the helmet. Like, man, thanks, good job.
That's
you know,
right.
that's all the time. So, you know, growing up with Wayne and playing with Wayne, he always made sure that his lineman was appreciated and thanked. You know, and I'll always respect him for that too as well.
Well, all that group of guys that you were talking about, we never, ever, even though I hated it sometimes myself when you go down there hot as it was, heard a complaint from you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you had equipment that didn't fit.
Yeah.
You know, back in those days, sometimes you got some stuff that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Not like it is.
Yeah. No, it's...
And the equipment probably wasn't quite as good as it is today.
No, if you could get it on, you were going to the field.
That's
right.
right.
That was it. You know, it was just something that we really just looked forward to. Football was just part of life.
Is there one memorable game that sticks out in your mind that you played in that we either won or lost that really stuck with you?
That I would say beat Marshall County.
Yeah.
You think we hadn't done that in forever? I think that.
And they had
final-
some really good football teams,
yeah.
physical,
Yeah, very tough.
much
team.
like Mayfield.
Much like Mayfield.
Well, their coach was from Mayfield.
Right.
Shelton.
Sure was.
He was.
Yeah, and when we had those 2 overtime games with Trice County and Fort Campbell.
Man,
Good gracious, I didn't think those were ever going to stop. I tell you what, that proved to me how important the kicking game was.
Right.
And you never thought about the kicking game, back in the day. It was, 5 yards in a cloud of dust a lot of times. And but those games really bestowed on me what a kicking game was about, and the importance of it.
I'll tell you one quick thing here too. Is you were talking about the guys that you looked up to, and junior, and this, and that, and other. I was at the middle school game the other night and talked to Chad Lane.
Yeah.
And he told me that he was a freshman when you were a senior.
Oh.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
And he told me you were the one that wore him out too, and it made him a lot better player, because he said every time I looked up there was Chris looking right ahead of me. He said he was knocking me here and there. But anyway, just to make the point,
We used to have some good battles in practice. And of course, we did one-on-one Oklahoma drills, and I can remember you and Brock going against each other
we
day
looked
after
forward
day.
to Oklahoma. That was the thing, we'd love to get down and see who could get up first, and make the way to the running back. That was fun. I remember going, Brian Jaggers, he was one of those freshmen too.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
He's I have a lot of respect for Brian. I know when he got inducted, he said a lot of nice things about me as well. And it's amazing. The football is a family a lot of times around here, and it's like you never forget those people. And they're always, when you see them, you're happy to see them. They really are.
Well, I tell you, you look good. You look like you can go out there and play right now.
He's chasing his family around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on TV the other day, I think they had an alumni game. I forgot where it was at, over in Marshall County or somewhere. I'm not sure where. And I was watching it. Some of those players, they were a little bit older out there playing. It's like, it's like my brain tells me I'm there, but
You think you got one more left in you?
You would love, the dream would that be to have one more left in you. It really would be.
Well, Chris, we sure do appreciate you coming in and sharing your time with us, and I appreciate your employer letting you off to come in and talk to us. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you're doing great. You're a great player for both of us, and we appreciate it, and it's a well-deserved honor. And here in a couple weeks, we'll be recognizing you before the Crittenden County, I believe it's the Crittenden County game, and I don't know if they're going to do it I believe probably at halftime. So you and your class will be the next class coming in to the Caldwell County Football Hall of Fame, and we just want to congratulate you.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it very much.
We love you, man, and I know you. My favorite friend, your daddy's looking down on you right now, as proud as he can be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to take a short break here and come back, and we got a few more studio guests. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Hi, Mark Bott, the founder of Operation Kids Safe. A big thank you to the Trice Hughes team. Bring the entire family for refreshment, activities, and a day of safety and fun. Saturday, August the 25th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Parents will get a free and private lifetime Amber Alert digital safety form for their child from Operation Kids Safe. It's all about family at Trice Hughes Incorporated, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. More information, go to tricehughes.com or their Facebook page. Hi, Mark Bott, the founder of Operation Kids Safe. A big thank you to the Trice Hughes team. Bring the entire family for refreshment, activities, and a day of safety and fun. Saturday, August the 25th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Parents will get a free and private lifetime Amber Alert digital safety form for their child from Operation Kids Safe. It's all about family at Trice Hughes Incorporated, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. More information, go to tricehughes.com or their Facebook page.
Back here at Tiger Sports Talk with DT and Gator at 103.3 FM, The Tiger. We have now with us in the studio some representatives from the Youth Incorporated, and we're going to talk a little bit about Little League football. We got Craig Lewis and Kyle Rogers joining us here. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
I know you're right in the beginnings of sign-ups and practice. Right. Tell us what's going on and what you want to share with us about Youth Incorporated.
Okay, Coach. Well, we had a lot of kids sign up and are participating. Over 100 young men signed up for Junior Pro this year. That's about 30% higher than last year.
100.
Over 100. We had a really good showing of support for our Junior Pro football program. Also, the cheerleading. I want to mention them. The cheerleading commissioner.
Don't you leave those cheerleaders.
Oh, no. They're
I've got a granddaughter that's going to be one of them.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they're very important, and we also had our numbers up for participation there. We had over 40 girls come out for cheerleading.
That's great.
And we're very fortunate to have a good commissioner for cheerleading and a good commissioner for football, and I'll mention them later. But Chris Enos is our football commissioner, does a great job, and Kathy Lewis is our cheerleading commissioner.
Who's that now?
Who's what?
You should have said my wife,
okay.
Kathy Lewis.
She may not want me to mention her like that.
He's already in trouble if I mention her first.
That's right.
Who's that, he said.
There you go.
Already getting me in trouble.
Oh, go ahead.
But our schedule, our first game is this Saturday. It's a preseason jamboree. We'd love you guys to come out and support us there. It's in Crittenden County. And then our first regular season game is in Cadiz, where we face the Trigg County team. It's our white team versus Trigg County on September 8th.
Yeah, we got 2 teams in every age, in both ages.
Yeah.
That's
That's
something
great.
no other county does.
Yeah.
And we are very successful at doing that. And
Yeah.
when we go to other counties, we are facing their best.
Right.
Most other counties have one
team.
You at 40, we made a rule last year that if as a county you go over 40 kids or you hit 40, you got to split and have 2 teams. Every one of them 36, 38, 39.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
It is. You know,
You know, I'd heard earlier this year that we were down. We weren't getting anybody out, but most time people wait till the last minute.
that's what happened. Yeah. Now we were very fortunate. Like I said, we were 30% up from previous years on sign-ups.
And that's great.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
You know, we've been, of course, asked questions about numbers being down in football, especially on the lower levels, down on
Right.
the Little League levels,
Right.
and I don't see that at all here now.
We were down for a few years, but it seems to go in generations, and hopefully we'll be okay for the next 5 or 6, 7 years with participation. But
Now,
again,
did we have we didn't have 2 teams per class last year, did we?
Yes.
We did?
2 years ago we didn't.
2 years ago
Okay.
we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, our
We only
numbers are.
had 2 in the 3rd and 4th, 1 in 5th and 6th.
Okay. Now, who are the other communities we're competing against?
Go ahead, Kyle.
We're Tree County, Webster, Crittenden, and Union. And,
In Caldwell. Okay.
and we got 2 teams to get it.
Yep. And sometimes those teams, the white and the gold team, will face each other.
Right. We play 2 games against each other out here, so that'd be a good game for people to come to.
Yeah. Now, do you normally play on Saturdays and Sundays, or
Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Saturdays only.
Saturdays only?
Yep.
1 game's at 2 and 1 game's at 4.
Okay.
They let you play on the big field. Is that
They
where
do.
y'all play?
Yeah, we're very
This is
fortunate
right.
that Coach
Good
Barnes
deal.
and
They take
the
care
guys
of
let us play there.
That's a good deal for seating and parking and everything.
And it means a lot for the kids to
Yeah,
play on the
sure.
high school team. It really does.
And so we used to play the Caldwell. We only played them 1 time, and we would play them on the off night, on the off Friday night, under the lights.
Do you have enough coaches to
Yes,
as many
we do.
kids as you got?
We do, and I'd like to mention those later on
Okay.
if you would have a moment.
Don't let me
But
interrupt you.
one
Go right
thing, one
ahead.
thing that Chris Enos, our commissioner, wants me to mention is, with all the knowledge out there for head injuries, we're really putting a lot of emphasis on taking the head out of the game, teaching our young men to tackle with their head up and their shoulders down, with leading with their shoulders. It's very important that we take the steps that we have to make it safe for the kids. We're also in practice. We're not doing as much hitting as we used to. I mean, we still have to teach these young men the proper form of tackling. We don't want to send them to Coach Cookie Hiko not knowing what they're doing up in middle school. So we're less hitting and proper hitting is our what we're teaching these days, trying to educate these kids. Chris wanted me to mention we do follow the high school's lead on the heat index rules for practice at City County Park. If it gets too hot, we shut it down until it cools down.
Then we also, if it's a certain temperature, we only go with no pads, no helmets, whatever. However the high school goes, is what we do.
Yep.
Last few days you hadn't had to worry about it.
No, it's been nice, boy. It's been nice.
When do y'all practice? During
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And you practice out here?
City County.
City County.
Yeah.
Oh, you moved it to City County.
Yeah, it's a lot more room. We can get both third and fourth and fifth and sixth on 2 fields, and there's plenty of room. Makes it a lot better.
All right.
I know you got some tackling rings coming. I hope they hurry up and get here.
Yeah,
and of course they can, help.
That will definitely help.
It will definitely help
Yes.
on the fundamentals
Yes,
of
it will.
tackling.
Yeah.
So, go right ahead.
Okay, let me run through and thank everybody, because it's a lot of hard work, and these guys and ladies are volunteering their time. Nobody's getting paid to come out there and support our program. The 3rd and 4th grade football team coach is Chris Enos, who's also our commissioner, Kyle Rogers, and Gary Clam. Our 5th and 6th grade gold team is Josh Ramage, Benji Dunbar, and Bolo Burke. And our 3rd and 4th grade white team is Carl Copeland and Brian Phelps. And if I'm missing somebody, my apologies. And then our 5th and 6th grade white is coached by Trevor Burke and Jamie Palm. And then our cheerleading, our 3rd and 4th grade gold team is coached by Kathy Lewis and Nacy Butts. You know Nacy, Coach?
I think I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Trust me, I know all about that cheerleading. I've listened to it for years.
Right.
Smoke that you pipe.
And then our 3rd and 4th white team is coached by Audie Palm and Chelsea Copper. Then we have 1 5th and 6th grade team. We didn't have enough to split the cheerleading squad this year, but it's coached by Donna Dalton and Cheryl Lancaster.
Now, how long have y'all been practicing?
We just started.
Yeah.
I thought just here this past week.
Yeah, 1 week. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we gave out equipment Monday and started practicing yesterday.
And then
Or Tuesday.
next Saturday is when you've got the jamboree.
This Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
They don't give us a lot of time.
No, it didn't.
How's that passing out the equipment go?
That's a pretty big job.
Yeah, that's an ordeal. Yeah.
You need more help there than you do when you're coaching.
You really do. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we're
we-
trying to wait until we want to wait to end signups after school starts. And so the preseason jamboree is already set, so then we're just kind of limited by when school starts. We want to at least get them in school so everybody knows about it that possibly can.
Right. It's a lot easier that way because you got them all in one spot.
Right.
True.
So then the preseason jamboree is set, so we got to go by whenever school is, and that's when we end. So that just left us with a whole week to get ready.
Well, that list you just read off, crazy good to hear because most of those kids we're familiar with, every one of them. I say kids now, and they have kids.
That's
but-
right.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of them, and of course, we won't give another shout out. You brought up Jamie Palm. He brought donuts in again this morning, so we want to.
That's great.
Appreciate Jamie stopping by. But yeah, all those young men, are come through the program, and they know what it takes,
Right.
and
Yep.
it makes your job a lot easier too, having knowledgeable
It
people
does.
out
It
there
does.
and working with those kids. And on this level, you just want them to get to love the game.
Right.
Where they want to come and play and practice, and of course, competition is there. I can remember back when we didn't even keep score, or they said they didn't keep score, but people in the stands kept
They always keep score.
Right. But we're just trying to get them ready for the next level and keep loving those kids.
Right.
And we appreciate that.
You bet.
Y'all got anything else you'd like to add?
One more thing, quick thing. We had a lot of sponsors who stepped up, both individually and businesses, to help us make this year possible. Too many to thank. Just want to thank everybody and say we appreciate it.
We know where you're coming from. I tell you what, this is a giving community, but you hate to keep trying to give from the same people all the time. But for some reason, they keep coming back.
Right.
And when's your opening game? Home
The
game?
first regular season game is September 8th.
That's next.
That's in Trice County.
In Trice County.
Okay.
Yeah, and our first home game.
2 weeks.
Yes.
Be 2 weeks from Saturday. Yeah.
First home game is September 15th, where the white
home
team
game.
faces Webster and the gold team faces Union County.
Okay. Of course, and they'll be put on the radio and in the newspaper, and everybody will
Good
be
deal.
familiar with it.
Somebody gets the scores, they get on.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we appreciate having some big crowds out there.
Yeah.
Do you take up an admission
Yes.
Yes.
for the games?
Yes.
How much is an admission? Do you know? Does anybody know yet? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just
I'm
thought
thinking
people
it's
might wanna know.
$4, but I'm not sure.
Is that for 2 games? I mean, do they
Four
play
games. 4 games.
4 games? Can't hardly beat that. That's a buck
Ooh.
a game.
Yeah.
That's a lot of games.
Bubble gum for that anymore.
Yep.
4 games. Ooh. There'll be a lot of grandparents and parents and
Oh, yeah.
family and friends at all those games, and we want to encourage the community to come out and support these future Tigers. Before you blink an eye, they'll be up in high school.
Yes, sir.
You'll know.
That's right.
Goes by quick.
It does.
Thank you guys for coming
Thank you.
in, and appreciate you sharing that information with us.
And if you got anything else during your season, either call us or come back or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something.
Give us an update.
They say there are a few people that listen, but I kind of doubt it. But if you have something you want to put on, you can.
Okay.
Well, that
Sounds
about
good.
wraps us up for today, DT.
Yeah, we got to give one more shout out. I saw Dan Hughes go by, and he was saying you were #1. I think that's what he was doing. I'm not sure.
Oh, is that what he was saying? Dan is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we're going to have to get him in here.
He
to
will be
the-
#1 that day.
Yeah, yeah. And we want everyone to tune in and listen to his comments as well. We want to thank all of our sponsors, all of our guests today. Will Barnes from the high school, Lance Gregory from Graves County High School, Chris Cochran, and Kyle and Cray for coming in and sharing the Youth Incorporated.
Throw in one last word for Willie. He wants to hear that word. Throw it out.
There's no festivities, Willie, tonight. He loves festivities.
Every time he give me 5 on the festivities, Coach.
Yeah, I hear you. We want to once again thank everyone for tuning in and listening today, and we'll be back again next Friday.
Hopefully.
You've been listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes